Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, a few days ago, a U.S. four-star general said that he feels in his gut that we are going to be at war with China by 2025. By 2025. This is not some, second lieutenant, some private in the military that is saying this. This is a four-star general, I think his name is Monahan, that is in command of 50,000 personnel for transport and refueling of aircraft. This is a man that is privy to U.S. intelligence briefings. He has access to information. So for him to say he feels it in his gut and to issue a memo to the chain of command under him for preparation of this is highly significant. Now, then the Rand Corporation recently released a report of their own that, they're a warmongering think tank that advised a negotiated settlement in Ukraine so that the U.S. military can prepare for and divert their attention and resources toward China. They already know that Ukraine is a complete loss. They know this. So there's no reason to continue this. They throw all kinds of other stuff in there, but they know that Ukraine is a complete loss. Now, somehow, these people think that if they end the Ukraine conflict, that Russia's no longer going to be a factor. I have pointed out previously that China and Russia have a mutual defense agreement similar to NATO, Section 5 or Article 5 of the NATO agreement, that if one is attacked, they will both respond. So what is the China thing all about? It's about Taiwan. Okay? Now, every country on Earth recognizes Taiwan as being part of China. That is even part of the U.S. State Department statement on Taiwan, that Taiwan is part of China. There's all this stuff about, China's going to invade Taiwan. How do you invade your own country, first of all? You don't. That's not an invasion. And second, China doesn't need to invade Taiwan. Taiwan is an island. They depend exclusively, almost exclusively, on imports of raw materials, fuel, food. China can just cut off all maritime traffic to Taiwan, period. And what's going to happen? One thing that's going to happen is that you would wind up with class warfare happening on Taiwan because Taiwan considers themselves pretty much capitalist, supply and demand. You don't have enough food or fuel or anything. The wealthy on the island are going to be able to afford to survive, and the poor are not. Well, once the poor rise up, then you've already defeated any insurgency or whatever that happens there. You have people going hungry, people that are desperate. The economy is absolutely collapsed It's gone. They've already taken over the island. They don't have to fire a single shot at all. As it is, anything coming into the island, the American weapons that have been delivered to Taiwan, these are coming into the island with the full knowledge and passive consent of Beijing. They know this stuff is coming in, and they've let it happen. But China has been insistent that they want to negotiate this diplomatically and peacefully, but they will use military force if they have to. But how much would it take for them to have to? Then you got the other problem. If the United States tries this, this would be primarily a maritime, a naval battle situation. Some people think that there'll be these great aerial warfare, dogfights, all this kind of stuff. Think about this. If you've got aircraft, they've got to have a place to land, to refuel, to rearm, to repair, etc. Now, the United States is trying to expand our presence in the Philippines, but the Philippines, again, is an island chain. There are a lot of limitations there. But we're going to spend, already announced, over $850 million that are going to be spent expanding our military presence in the Philippines. And you got South Korea. Look how big South Korea is compared to, China. And then what? Yeah, you're probably going to be dealing with North Korea as well in that situation, and probably Iran on the other side, because, all of them are going to feel threatened. Because if you go for China, you're going to go after North Korea and Iran. And we've been ramping up our aggression toward Iran and North Korea. Name anybody we're not increasing our aggression toward. Now, every hypothetical scenario that has been run by the Pentagon, which has been over 40 scenarios, hypothetical scenarios, simulations that have been done, have shown they came to the same conclusion, that if we went to war with China, that it would be over within maybe 3 weeks, maybe less, and the United States would lose decisively. There was only one exception to that, which was an hypothetical scenario where the United States was using weapons that do not exist at this time. The United States is also trying to draw NATO into this, which I don't think is going to happen. The European people are already protesting and suffering from the Ukraine debacle, and they're against that. You think they're going to say, sure, let's go to war with China? They've depleted their arsenals. They're so what, they're going to load everything onto ships and go over to try and invade China? That's not going to happen. China has a larger naval presence than the United States does. The difference is that the United States focuses on these large, aircraft carriers and all these kind of things. You know what? Those are larger targets. And if China sees this flotilla, fleets of American ships headed toward them, you're not going to have these big aerial battles, because China's going to target those ships before the ships have a chance to get within aerial range. You know, your aircraft carriers are going to be useless if you hit them 1,000 kilometers out. And even if you're still able to launch anything, it's not going to be able to get back to the ship, or the ship is just not going to exist for them to get back to. So it would be a suicide mission for this to happen. The bigger your fleet is, the bigger your flotilla is, the bigger your target is, the better the chances are that China can hit them with long-range missiles and just take out multiple ships at a time. China already has hypersonic weapons. A hypersonic weapon with no warhead can take out an aircraft carrier by pure kinetic energy. It'll cut through it like butter. Add a warhead to it, and it's just atomized. The ship would just be atomized. That's all there is to it. The other thing about this is that why would Europe get involved in this? Europe is extremely dependent on China for, supplies. Europe imports everything. All their raw materials, and a lot of those raw materials come from Europe. That includes fuel because, China has been importing oil and gas from Russia and then processing it and shipping it back out to send to Europe. Well, Europe is already they've cut themselves off from Russian gas, a lot of Russian oil, and now on February 5th, from processed oil products like diesel and fuel oil. So that's going to be cut off as of February 5th. And from the understanding I have of what Russia has been saying, they're going to ban other countries from taking their oil, processing it, and then reshipping it to countries that are hostile to Russia. So that might be cut off even from China and other countries that are processing Russian oil into other products and selling it to Europe. Europe has been, their economy, their industries have been hard hit by the events, all the sanctions on Russia. You think they're going to turn around and go to war with China? Where are they even going to get the raw materials to wage such a war? Where's it going to come from? The United States doesn't produce enough. You're not going to get it from Australia or whoever. Oh yeah, the United States has roped in Japan, but honestly, Japan at this point doesn't have enough of a military presence to even be that much of a significant factor in a war against China. So this is absolute foolishness. But they're still going ahead with it. Here's what you can count on, is that this year, our military budget is going to go up even further. While our government is cutting tens of millions off of Medicaid assistance, trying to privatize Social Security, cutting benefits for Medicare, cutting food stamps and social assistance programs, allowing hundreds of thousands of Americans to go homeless. This is what's going on. The war is not on China. The war is not on Russia. The war that the United States government is waging is against the American people. That is the war that is being waged right now. You are the target. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not Iran. It's not Venezuela. You are the target. Do you understand this? You are the target. Now, ask yourself, who are the real terrorists here? Because who is your enemy? You know who's benefiting from this is the military-industrial complex. They keep getting richer. The oil companies keep getting richer. Your oil prices and gas prices are about to skyrocket on February 5th. Take my word for it. Wait until February 5th and watch what happens to the price of a gallon of gas. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign. We need diplomacy, not war. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.